This video is sponsored by Goojodoq. Hi, my name is Rich. I make videos for seniors and beginners on how to get the most out of their iPhones and iPads, without going nuts. In other words, I don't produce hard to follow videos. I leave that to other content creators. Just straightforward, simple stuff here. And I also rarely do sponsored videos. The things I use on this channel are things I use in real life, and I make sure they're road tested before they pop up on screen. And lately, as the channel has grown, I've had quite a few companies reach out wanting to sponsor a video. And I thank them for the offer, but say no just about every time. But today's sponsor, Goojodoq, is different. They have a great, affordable iPad keyboard and pencil. I get a lot of comments on my videos about how expensive Apple products are. And I get it. You literally pay top dollar for any and every Apple device. But this keyboard I'm going to show you today currently retails for $109. And the pencil we'll take a look at retails for $24. Much, much cheaper than the Apple Pencil. But regardless of the price, the question is, are they worth it? And to me, the answer is yes. Yes, these are two pretty good products. And if you do decide to make a purchase after watching this video, check out the links in the description below. So the first thing you need to know is this keyboard and pencil doesn't work with every iPad. They're made for the first, second, third, and fourth generation iPad Pros, and that's for both the 11-inch and the 12.9-inch iPad Pros. And if you get the 11-inch version of the keyboard, it also works with the iPad Air 4th and 5th generation. And of course, the pencil attaches to the top of the iPad via magnets. So if you have one of these iPads, you're good to go with both the keyboard and the pencil. So jumping right in, I'm going to cover build quality, how well is this thing made, Bluetooth connectivity, because it connects a little bit differently than Apple's Magic Keyboard. The trackpad, how well it works. We'll take a look at the keyboard. And then lastly, of course, the pencil. All right, let's get started. All right, the first thing I want to talk about is just the build quality of this. This is made very similar to Apple's Magic Keyboard. The feel of the case is very similar. The build and the structure is somewhat the same. The hinge along here is really good and strong, and the hinge down here is also strong. I've seen some of these keyboards that are made this way with this form factor, but they get a little wobbly right here, or the hinge down here doesn't work quite right. But this one is really good. It's solid and it makes you feel like it's going to last. You charge it via USB-C, a little side thing right there, and it holds charge really well. If you use the backlit keyboard, which I'll show you in just a minute, it'll last about an entire work day, and that literally means like 8 hours of typing, which nobody does. If you turn the backlit keyboard off, you get about 100 hours of use. So, that's literally a long, long time. So that works really well. It has an on-off switch right here, and you can tap it twice and turn it off, tap it twice and turn it on. And I'll go over more about a little clever feature they've built in just a minute. But overall, the build quality is really good. So the next thing I want to talk to you about is Bluetooth connectivity. This thing connects via Bluetooth, and I've been testing it and it's worked really well. Bluetooth can be a little iffy here and there, and it just drives me nuts when things don't connect the way they're supposed to connect. But this is pretty simple to connect. When you turn on the keyboard, like I've got it turned on here, you simply go into Bluetooth, you go into settings and you go into Bluetooth. And you'll see the keyboard listed here. It's the A1895 Pro is this model. If you tap on it, it takes just a second and asks you if you want to pair, and you connect it, and now you're connected. And so now I can just use the trackpad, I can use the keyboard, anything I want to do, it's connected. But here's the clever part of this Bluetooth connectivity. Sometimes you just forget to turn devices off. But if you shut this lid, it turns off the keyboard and the iPad. So it's off right now. If you open it back up, it's connected again. and you're good to go, just like that. And that's really handy. And to show you how that works, if you take the iPad off, and I lay it here, and I tap on the Bluetooth connectivity, you can see that it's connected right here, but if I close the lid, it'll show not connected. If I raise the lid back and open it back up, it takes a second, but it reconnects automatically. And that's what I love about this keyboard. Once you've connected it one time, you should be good to go. Now the pencil connects very similarly. It's Bluetooth. It has on it a little flashing blue light on the tip. I don't know if you can see that. And that turns it off and on. But when you put it up here, it charges. But you have to connect it via Bluetooth as well. So again, you go into Settings, you go into Bluetooth, and you can see that the pencil shows up here. And you tap on that, and it asks you, do you want to pair? And now the pencil is connected, and it will charge while sitting up at the top. And that's how the Bluetooth connectivity works on this. I'm glad that it's just one and done. And so far for me, that's the way it's performed. All right, the next thing I want to talk to you about is the trackpad. One of the things that I've seen on some of these keyboards that are available that have a trackpad is it sort of falls down there. This keyboard is nice and wide, and it works exactly like you would expect it to work. Just like the Apple Magic keyboard. I mean, it opens apps. If you use it with the swipes that you use with the iPad, you can, use it any way that you want to do it. It opens up emails, you can swipe, you can do just anything you want like that. Now, I've set the trackpad up as a touch device. Some people like the trackpad that you have to click on like that. I don't like to have to click on it, so I've just set it up as a touch device. If you go into Settings, go to General, go to Trackpad, this is where you set it up tap to click. So rather than clicking like that, you can just tap and it works. So if I just tap, I can go to different things. I don't have to click it. And it just makes the trackpad a lot easier to use, and I just love that feature that Apple built in a few years ago, and this trackpad takes full advantage of that. It works on all of the corners here too. Anywhere you touch, it works, and that's what sort of makes this a little bit different than some of the other products that are on the market. But the trackpad works well. One of the best things about this keyboard, of course, is the keyboard. It's just easy to type with. If you want to open a note, and I'll just start a new note. This keyboard works well. The keys on this are very responsive. They've got a good spacing on it. I'm using, of course, the 11-inch iPad Pro here, but it just feels very good to the touch. Now, like I said, you have a backlit keyboard here. That's something that the Apple keyboard doesn't have. If you hold the function and tap over here on the little light, you can turn it on, and maybe you can see that, maybe you can't. It's got 3 levels of brightness. That's off, first level, second, third level. And I just leave it off because I don't type in the dark. One thing it has that the Apple keyboard doesn't have is a row of function keys up here. So you can change the brightness of your screen. Again, if you hold the function key down, you can change the screen from dark to light this way. You can just search if you want to search for an application or something like that. If you want to pull up Siri, you can tap on the microphone and pull up Siri. And of course you've got your media controls all along here as well, including volume control, down and up. And that's something you don't have on the Apple Magic keyboard. So all in all, this keyboard is really functional. It feels good to type on. If you get this and you start typing on it, you'll see what I mean. It just works very well. It works as expected. Nothing super exciting, but it just does the job and it does it well. Okay, so what about the pencil? This pencil looks very similar to Apple's pencil, and it works very similarly to Apple's pencil. So I can just tell you how I use a pencil. I use it as a stylus, and I use it to write notes. I don't do a lot of other things with it. I think 99% of the people who use a pencil with the iPad use it for those two purposes, and this suffices very well. For example, I can just tap and open up reminders. I can hide reminders. I can open up my calendar. I can pull up a meeting and the details, that kind of thing. And I can also do notes. So if I want to do a quick note, I can just type. This is a quick note. And you can see how nice that looks. It writes really, really well. I'm using a particular stylus that comes with Apple Notes. If I click Done, if I go ahead and I open up Apple Notes, this is the note that I just took. I can do that. If I want to choose a different pencil, I can come down here. Maybe I want to choose a highlighter, and I can highlight with it like that. I can choose this. I can choose a different color. There's red. Anyway, you get the idea. The pencil works really well, and it comes with a couple of extra nibs on it. So if you wear this out, and they just screw in like this, if you wear it out, then you can just replace it and you're good to go. Again, I use it as a stylus and I use it as a writing tool, and this pen just works really well. And it is literally about 25% of the cost of the Apple Pencil. So it's really something that you might want to think about if you're in the market to get this. Okay, that wraps up this review. I hope you found this video worthwhile, because if you're in the market for an affordable alternative to Apple's Magic Keyboard and Pencil, then I think this is a good choice. Be sure to check out the links in the description below should you want to pull that trigger and make a purchase. Okay, as always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.